Here's how to hire a fractional CMO for growth and how to avoid the mistakes. By the end of this video, you're gonna know exactly how to hire a fractional CMO that's focused on growth, who can actually move the needle when it comes to revenue in your business. When you hire a fractional CMO, there's two different things that could happen. There's advice or there's growth. If you wanna make sure that you're getting the latter, that it's really important that you watch the rest of this video. So here's the honest truth. Not all fractional CMOs are built for growth. Now, what does that mean? Because most people think when they're hiring a fractional CMO, then of course, they're gonna actually grow their company. And most fractional CMOs come in with the right intention. They want to grow the company. But there's a couple of factors that you have to understand when you're hiring one to make sure that they're going to be able to impact your business with growth. And that's what we're really talking about today. In order to make sure that you're going to get growth, there's a couple of different things that you have to analyze before you even get started. Number one is, what does success look like to you? Because growth can encompass a lot of different things. What I always tell my clients is that they need to clearly define the timeline and the exact thing that they want to see happen as far as growth is concerned, so that we're both on the same page and we can both celebrate that victory together. So I'll give you an example, very simple one for most people. I would like to see our revenue in our company increase by 10% in the next 90 days. There's a timeline, there's a goal, it's easy to measure, everybody's on the same page. But it could be totally different in your business. It could be, I want you to help me map out a new product that we're gonna bring to market, and it has to serve this particular avatar, and it has to have this particular outcome, and we've got to have all of these assets created, and it has to be deployed into the market within 6 months. Well, that has nothing to do with revenue growth. So if you're on the wrong page when you get started, then it's very difficult to analyze if the person that you've hired is actually accomplishing the goal that you want. Now, here's when a fractional CMO is not really built for growth. When you look at fractional CMOs, they traditionally come from one of three places. The first place is they've worked as an executive at a very senior level for a business for maybe quite a few years. And what they've actually done is they've just managed people. They've got huge teams underneath them. They're not really in charge of the strategy per se as they are as much as managing the people and making sure they hire the right people and they create the right culture. And there's nothing wrong with that. But they're more managerial oversight. The problem with hiring somebody like that for growth is it's been so long since they were actually in the trenches that they don't know what's working today and what's not. So they can't give you tactical solutions that you can implement right away that are gonna actually move the needle. If you wanna hire a fractional CMO for growth, it's really, really important that you understand how intimately they've been involved in the campaigns within the last couple of years. That's why it's always my favorite option to hire a fractional CMO that also runs an advertising agency, because they're in the trenches every single day. They can see what's going on in the different platforms. They can see what's working with clients and what's not, and they can easily duplicate those elements into your business without any hesitation whatsoever. So there's really three types of fractional CMOs that are in the industry. And it's important to know which one is which and which one is going to be the right fit for your business. So you have consultative CMOs, you have managerial CMOs, and you have execution-based CMOs. A consultative CMO is just going to tell you what you should be doing. Now, it might be you, it might be your operations manager, it might be your marketing director, but their role is to just audit your business, compare it to success they've had in the past, and tell you what to do, and then it's your job to go and implement it. And that can be good if you're just trying to solve a quick problem, but if you don't have the team to execute it, then oftentimes it can stall out and not actually go anywhere. But the other side of that is that it's the least expensive option when you're just hiring somebody for consulting. Option two is you hire somebody for consulting and management. So this is where they'll come in and they'll create the plan, and then they'll work with your team, overseeing your team to make sure that that plan is executed the right way. That's a little bit of a step up where you're getting a little bit more control over the situation, but it's also a little bit more expensive because obviously they have to put in more time if they're also having to manage your team. The third type is the one I referenced earlier, where you actually hire a fractional CMO who either works in a very high-level agency or they run a high-level agency. And why this is my favorite is because they can come in and create the strategy based on what they see working today So it's real, it's timely, and it's tangible, and then they can hand it to a team they've already trained to the highest level in their processes and execute it very, very quickly. The difference between managerial and executional is that executional can often move the needle within the first 30 days, where managerial, it can take 3 to 6 months before you actually see the result because they're having to work with people that they're unfamiliar with. Now, here are some red flags to watch out for. If you're interviewing a fractional CMO and they're telling you that they can do all of these things for your business, but they don't actually have any case studies or referrals in your specific industry, it doesn't mean that they don't know what they're doing. It just means that their strategies were implemented on different industries. And there are huge differences between different business types. So you want to make sure that you're hiring a fractional CMO that's actually worked in your industry, has some case studies or some testimonials or some people that they can refer you to that you can interview and ask about the results. Because if they haven't worked in your industry recently, if they don't know what's working today, then effectively they're gambling your money on their ideas with a proof of concept versus something they know emphatically is going to move the needle immediately. If you want to actually see how this works inside of a real business, I've put together another video for you. It's the 5 things you must do before hiring a fractional CMO. You'll see the link directly underneath. You can go ahead and click it now.